Welcome. We will call to order the regular meeting of the Lawrence County Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, February 27 of 2024. We appreciate your all. Thank you, Eric. And Chris, thank you all for joining us. A couple of housekeeping items. I'll note for the record that the meeting is being live streamed and recorded. Also, that if you have any type of an electronic communication device, if you'd be kind enough to put it on silent or vibrate, we would appreciate that courtesy. Our good friend, Mr. Vanasco, is a little bit under the weather this morning, which is why he's not able to join us, and we want him to get better sooner rather than later. We always begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then if you please remain standing, we'll have a brief moment of silence. Commissioner Sanada, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you please remain standing, we'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. Chris, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Sanada?
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Here.
Commissioner Vogel?
Here. We have a quorum. We always have time during our meeting for public comment right at the beginning and then prior to adjournment. We ask if you do have a comment that it be related to county government matters. And if you could try to limit your time to around 5 minutes, we'd appreciate that as well. Also, you're welcome to speak both times. You're welcome to speak one of the two, or if you're just here to listen, you're not obligated to speak. And we, again, appreciate everybody joining us today. We always set aside time for row officer reports and comments if they are inclined to join us, and today we don't have any of our elected row officers with us. Let me open it then for public comment. If you do have a comment, if you raise your hand, we'll call on you. If you could just state your name for the record, we'd appreciate it. Any public comment? Hearing none. We'll do this again prior to wrapping up the meeting. I've asked my two colleagues, and they are both willing to do this. I'd like to make an adjustment to the printed agenda out of respect. We do have our President Judge Don Motto with us this morning, along with our Court Administrator, Mr. Mike Ackerbaum. They are listed on the agenda under Roman numeral 6, item 4. It does say commissioners, but this is a matter involving the courts. Judge Motto does have a matter pending in his courtroom as we speak. So he has asked, and we certainly want to oblige him if he could go first. So Judge and/or Mike, if you'd like to have a seat, please. And we always enjoy having you with us. We will be referencing, and we'll have to get a number on this proposed resolution. Chris, this is the Memorandum of Understanding proposal.
Yes.
Do you have a number for that, please?
Sure. 36.
Okay, thank you. This is proposed resolution 2024-36. And the background on this, and I'll let the judge obviously provide the details. The courts have communicated with the commissioners requesting a memorandum of understanding between the county and one of our bargaining units, specifically Teamsters Local 261. And this is specific to the court reporter positions. Or a specific one position within that union. And we have, once we received a memorandum from the judge, we referred the memorandum to both our county administrator and our county solicitor. They communicated with the Teamsters Union, and both sides have reached an agreement or an understanding. But Your Honor, if you'd like to give us the background on this proposal.
Yeah, I do appreciate your opportunity. This really is an important consideration for the court system. We currently have 3 veteran court reporters. We actually have 4 authorized positions, but it is almost impossible today to attract court reporters to the public sector. The reason for that is they make so much more money in the private sector that very few qualified court reporters are willing to be in the public sector. We've tried for probably 20 years to add someone to our staff, and we've never been able to get someone who has the qualifications necessary. And keep in mind, these 3 court reporters serve 4 courtrooms, 2 masters, and central court. And the only way we've been able to function with 3 is because so they wouldn't have to hire private services, which is very, very expensive. We supplement their services with digital recording. So the ability to have digital recording helps the 3 of them to be able to cover all those venues, but that information still has to be transcribed and certified by that court reporter. The problem is, the bad news is that one of these veteran court reporters has provided us with their intention to retire this year, and as early as the middle of April. And we can get by with 3, but we can't get by with 2. The good news is that with all of our efforts to hire somebody, we finally come across an individual. She has been a long-standing veteran court reporter in another county, but she lives in Newcastle. And she has advised us that she's in a position where she would consider taking her retirement in this other county and come to work for us, which would be convenient for her since she does live in Newcastle and she wouldn't have to do the traveling anymore. But she looked at the collective bargaining. She did come here and visit. She met Judge Cox. She's met all the other court reporters. She is very, very interested and willing to come here. But under our collective bargaining agreement, as it stands now without this amendment, a new employee would come in at approximately $20 an hour, but if you were hired before a particular date, you would get $22 an hour. And keep in mind, the county she works in is very prosperous and she's used to a much higher rate. And what she has told us, she's willing to come here for the 22, but not for the 20. I think it would be a shame to lose this opportunity to bring this person here. If we don't bring it here, the consequence would be when we hit those situations where we simply don't have enough to serve us, we would be forced to hire a private service. At one time, we did do that on a regular basis, but when I became president judge, I learned that practice and got the digital recording. But if we had to do that, it's very, very expensive. If you have a lengthy trial, that private court reporter would probably be making more than a court-appointed attorney. So this is the proverbial stitch of time saves time. This is an opportunity, and I hope we can take advantage of it.
Judge, thank you for the background that you provided us, and I'll repeat the fact that upon receipt of your memorandum asking us to look at this, our solicitor reached out to the Teamsters Union, presented the request, and they indicated their agreement with this proposal. And what it now requires us to do as the Board of Commissioners is to give our approval to this proposed memorandum of understanding. And let me read this into the record that authorization will be given to execute the memorandum of understanding with the amended appendices regarding Teamsters Local 261, and the experienced court reporter shall be paid at the Appendix A rate attached to the existing collective bargaining agreement. Let me see if my colleagues have questions or concerns. Commissioner Kennedy, anything?
Nothing.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Sanada.
Just briefly, thank you, Judge, for the explanation. I know that we heard about this and the shortage of sonographers throughout the Commonwealth. It's a serious problem, and you've always been very cost conscious in my dealings with you, and I think your proposal is very reasonable. It's going to save the county money in the long run, and I want to thank you for your efforts because I know it's very difficult to find these people today. She's from Newcastle, and what we're talking about will save money in the long run. So thank you for your efforts.
If I could just add one more comment too. I think it's a fair to do just from the fact that that bifurcated rate was addressed for someone who would be new to that type of work. even though she was never employed in our county before, she does have a long history of experience and service in other counties. So just out of a sense of fairness, it is a fair thing to do. So, and she will still be making less money than the person who's going to retire because of the longevity of that person here in this county.
Exactly.
So,
Thank you so much, Judge. This is proposed resolution 36 for our consideration. If there are no other questions or comments from the board, I could entertain a motion for the approval of this resolution.
I move that we approve this resolution.
Second.
Gentlemen, thank you both. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sanado,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, Chris. Judge,
thank you so much.
that's all.
Judge.
Thank you. Michael, thank you. Take care. We'll go back now to the portion of the agenda that will go back to fiscal and contractual, which is Roman numeral 4 on the front page of your agenda. In front of us today, we periodically receive these. These are known as repository properties. I think we've explained in the past when a property owner does not pay their property taxes in a timely manner, it goes through a process that is dictated by state law that stipulates that the property will start in what's known as an upset sale, where people can come in and make a bid on that property. If no bid is made on a parcel during the upset sale, 6 months later, it goes to what's called the free and clear sale. And once again, if a bid is not made on that property at the second sale, it then goes into what is known as the repository. Essentially, the repository is a listing of all of the properties that have gone through that process, and the listing is maintained by the tax claim office, which is one floor above us here. And anyone from the public can come in and look at that list and see what properties are available throughout the county, and they can make a bid on those parcels. Once the bid is made, the bid then goes to the 3 taxing bodies, and it's in this order. It goes to the local municipality first for their consideration of the bid. Then it goes to the school district in which the property is located, and then finally it comes to the 3 of us. If one of the 3 taxing bodies declines the bid, then the bid is not accepted. So one of the 3 entities can essentially veto the bid if they so choose. Now today we have in front of us 3 bids that were made on properties within the city of Newcastle, and all 3 of them were accepted by Newcastle City Council. And then I'll also note that we've been given information by the tax claim office that the school district was also sent a letter informing them that all bid requests must be returned in 60 days or they would be deemed approved. And it notes here that the Newcastle area school district did not return their requests. So the 3 that we're considering have been approved by City Council of Newcastle. The Newcastle area school district chose not to respond, so that is deemed approved. It now comes before the 3 commissioners. The first resolution, and Chris, would we make this 37?
Yes.
Thank you. This is the first bid, and let me enter this one into the record. This is a bid in the amount of $500 that has been made for, it has been made by, the bidder's name is Tiffany Cooper, and the parcel number is 05-110900. The location is Denver Avenue in the city of Newcastle, 0.11 acres. This particular bid has been accepted by City Council, and it now comes before us for our consideration. This would be proposed resolution 37, which would allow us to accept the bid of $500 that has been made by Ms. Cooper. Gentlemen, questions or comments, or I can take a motion, whatever your preference is.
My only question is, we got this, it says it was returned 60 days from the school board. Newcastle School District. Did anybody from the county reach out to the school district? Or we just taken this?
Other than the letter that was originally sent to the school district, I believe that's the only communication that we're required to make. And that was done. We met the letter of the law by writing to the school district and making them aware of this bid. I don't believe that the tax claim office follows up, but I also don't believe they're legally required to. And if I find out to the contrary, I'll certainly correct myself.
Because I think the last couple we got, this said, all come back the same. So if they're not, are they even looking at it? That's my question.
Any other concerns, Mr. Kennedy?
No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sanada, any questions? Would one of you be willing to make a motion to approve Resolution 37?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I second the motion.
Thank you both, gentlemen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Chris. Resolution 38 is also a repository bid. Some similarities here. It is in the city of Newcastle. The person making the bid is once again Tiffany Cooper. She is bidding $500 for parcel number 05106-400 Denver Avenue in the city of Newcastle. It has been approved by Newcastle City Council. It is now up for us to give consideration to this $500 bid. Gentlemen, any discussion, or would one of you wish to make a motion?
I move that we accept the resolution.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Any questions, gentlemen? We have a motion for Resolution 38. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And then the final repository property upon which we have received a bid is once again the bid is from Tiffany Cooper. The dollar amount is $500. The parcel number is 05-153000, and the location is Denver Avenue. Now, you probably figure, well, there's consistency here, same bidder, the same amount, and all three parcels are Denver Avenue, but parcel numbers each differ. So my assumption is they are all in the same neighborhood. They may be contiguous. I don't know that for sure, but it's obvious they're all in the same area along Denver Avenue. This is Resolution 39. The Newcastle City Council approved acceptance of the bid. And I should note that, as with the previous two, they took action on January 26th of this year, they being the City Council. It now falls to us. This is proposed Resolution 39. Is there a motion or any concerns, gentlemen?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second that.
I thank you both. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, gentlemen. Each week, or most weeks, we receive from the County Controller's Office the warrant register, also known as the check reconciliation register. It's a document that lists all of the checks that have been cut by the Controller's Office. This document's available for anybody who wishes to see it. Debbie, like we always do, I'll give you my whole packet. We still have your packet upstairs from last week, too.
I'll get it when I.
Okay.
Thank you.
Circling. So gentlemen, please take the time you need to look these over. If you have any questions, feel free to raise them. And if not, whenever you're ready, I could take a motion to accept the warrant register. I move to accept the warrant register. Thank you, Chris. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. Gentlemen, any questions regarding the warrant register? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thanks, Chris. In our packet are the minutes from the February 20 Commissioners meeting. Gentlemen, I'll give you time to look them over, and whenever you're ready, I could take a motion to adopt the minutes if you so choose.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of February 20, 2024.
I second the motion.
Gentlemen, thank you both. Any questions or concerns about the minutes? If not, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thanks, Chris. We have one piece of written communication that we need to enter into the record. This document dated February 20 comes from Frank B. Taylor Engineering, which is based here in Lawrence County. It is an Act 14 notification as required by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. The document states that the purpose of this notice is to inform you of the intent of Joshua W. Haney to submit a notice of intent for a new National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System general permit for discharges from small flow treatment facilities and a notice of intent for a new water quality management general permit for small flow treatment facilities to the Department of Environmental Protection for the following. We've made note of the applicant's name. The address is 801 Fridays Hill Road. That is located in Wayne Township. And the project description is a single residence sewage treatment plant to replace the malfunctioning septic system currently serving the existing home located at 801 Friday Hill Road in Wayne Township. The law requires that the county be notified of matters such as this. We don't have any authority over it, other than the fact that we are required to receive notification. And the planning office also receives this document as well. Gentlemen, what I would need would be simply a motion to accept this document, if you're so willing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you both. Chris, any questions? Dan, anything? Thank you both. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you, Chris. Next on our agenda, we always set aside time for reports and updates from the three commissioners. And today, Commissioner Kennedy, you're first.
The one thing, and I said last week, when us three were together, probably we were talking about one good day we had last week. We went and visited the lodge at Water's Edge and had a lunch with the young lady. Pretty impressive what a young person is doing in Lawrence County. She moved back here from Florida and bought this, I don't know how many acres she did tell us, but what's going to be a nice little Airbnb, a resort on the Slippery Rock Creek that has been there since the 40s. And she's revitalizing it. And, it's pretty neat because even the inside of it, the furniture looks like the 1940s. So you're going back in time. But it was just nice and energetic to see a young person with a young group of people working with her to make this go in Lawrence County. she didn't ask us for anything, she just wanted to show us the place, which was refreshing, and I didn't want to go, I thought, oh, this is a waste of time. I think I was the last one to leave, but I was just at awe at what she's doing, and a great young lady. It just makes you proud to see something like that happen in Orange County, and she's taking her own money and getting this thing done, so pretty impressive for a day that I didn't even want to go. And I told her that, she laughed. She said, I made you change your mind. I said, yes, in a way. But, we've had a very busy week. Chris and I spent yesterday afternoon at the SPC meetings. Chris was there for 1, I was there for 4. So I spent all afternoon in Pittsburgh yesterday. Got to meet some new people that we can work with. And we need to work with to grow Orange County. So I got home about 8:30, so it was a long day for me. I don't know when you got home, Chris. I got dragged into a little get together after and had a sandwich with everybody before I left. So it was impressive. So just moving ahead. We got some more stuff scheduled this week. Don't need some more departments. We're gonna have a busy week, but I think Chris and I get confused on where we're going sometimes. He just asked me, where are we going this morning? I said, I don't know, I just looked at it. We're going somewhere, that's all I know. So we'll look at that phone after this meeting. We'll get to where we're gonna go, but we're learning a lot. And hopefully by the end of March, we're finally all done with this. And we know pretty well what everybody does around this courthouse. So that's it. We're gonna go on with this week and get some things done too.
Dan, thank you very much. I can vouch, both these gentlemen have been going about 90 miles an hour. I'm glad you mentioned our visit to the lodge at Water's Edge. That's actually down in Perry Township in the southern end of our county. And as Dan noted, it sits right along the Slippery Rock Creek in an area that I think is one of the most scenic parts of our county. A lot of people do fly fishing down in that area. And from where they're situated, if you look across the Slippery Rock Creek, you're actually looking at McConnell's Mill State Park property, which is at that point, you're actually in, that part is in Wayne Township. But this facility that Ms. Reno is developing sits in Perry Township. A couple other things we did last week. We participated in Leadership Lawrence County's Government Day that was held here at the courthouse. The 3 of us each spoke to those participants, and then I think our district attorney spoke after us. And last Saturday, the 3 of us were privileged to have been invited to attend the Elwood City Fire Department's annual dinner. It was held at the Sons of Italy on Lawrence Avenue. They had a real nice program where they honor both their paid members and their volunteer members. And then they give an overview of what has gone on in the past year, what fires they have fought, traffic accidents, et cetera. And we appreciate that we were included. There were a number of borough council members there. State Senator Vogel was in attendance as well. And we appreciate them asking us to be with them. Finally, yesterday I was invited, and my colleagues have now been invited. I was asked to come over and tour the Goodwill offices that are based in Youngstown. The region for Goodwill that Lawrence County is included in is a 5-county area. In Ohio, it's Trumbull, Mahoning, and Columbiana counties, and then in Pennsylvania, it's Mercer and Lawrence counties. As some of you might know, Goodwill has a store in Chenango Township out on Route 65. And they also work very closely with our CareerLink offices in trying to have some of their clients find job training and job opportunities. So I appreciate them having me over. And again, at some point, once these gentlemen have a chance to catch their breath, I think they'll make a run over there as well. So I'll close with this, and I'll note this at the end of the meeting that next week the board does not meet. We will be leaving over the weekend to attend the spring conference of the State County Commissioners Association. This will be held in Dauphin County and gives us an opportunity to interact with commissioners from throughout the Commonwealth, as well as a number of speakers that they bring in, including Governor Shapiro. He'll be speaking to us at a luncheon meeting on Monday. Ooh, and that reminds me, one final thing. Speaking of governors, I do want to note that, and Debbie's been involved with this extensively, on Wednesday, March 20, we will be starting the year-long celebration of the county's 175th anniversary. The county was formed in 1849. And former Commissioner Brian Burek, along with former Commissioner Beth Verderano, and a committee of volunteers from throughout the county have been planning some programs, the first of which will start on March 20. And I believe it's at 4 o'clock. We will have a ceremony in courtroom number 1 upstairs in Judge Motto's courtroom. And I was very pleased to hear that one of the special guests attending that meeting or that ceremony will be the state's lieutenant governor, Austin Davis. He will be coming to speak at that meeting. And then through Debbie's efforts, we will have a guest speaker from Pittsburgh who's a Lawrence County native, Michael Kraus. Did I get that right, Debbie? He's affiliated with Soldiers and Sailors Museum. Do I have that right?
Curator of the museum, yes.
Thank you. And he
And
has,
there's also some wonderful displays of past wars there that have Lawrence County soldiers in them on display down there.
so he's our principal speaker along with the lieutenant governor. But we thank you for bringing him here to talk with us that day. Now that ceremony is open to the public. And then following that, we will move down to the county's original courtroom in the old courthouse. And there will be a reception. The reception is by ticket. And I believe, I think you can get them at the library. I hope that's right. Or you can reach out to Mr. Burek, who works at the city building. I hope I have that right as well, Debbie. If I missed as far as,
There's a website too.
so if you Google Lawrence County 175th anniversary, you probably get to that site. And so there's so much space available in that room that they have to limit the number of tickets. I think they're $40 a person. So, but we thank the committee for all their hard work, and we're particularly honored to know that both Mr. Kraus will be attending and speaking, as will the Commonwealth's lieutenant governor. We're honored to have both of them. Well, thank you, Mr. Sonata.
Did you guys took all the good stuff? But no, it actually was very productive. Just echo. I serve on the tourist promotion board now, and I had met Gwen Reno. She serves on that board as well, and that's how the discussion started to tour her facility. She wanted us to come and see what she's doing out there. And once we set it up, and it was just amazing to see what's out there. People don't realize the things that we have in Lawrence County, especially when it comes to nature. You look at McConnell's Mills, and it's right near there, but it's Perry Township. And I'll be honest, I didn't know it was out there until I talked with Gwen at that meeting. And I think tourism is the second largest industry in the state of Pennsylvania. I used to serve on that for 16 years before I became chairman of Veteran Affairs, and I had an opportunity to tour the state, these facilities. Tourism generates a lot of dollars to the community. And a lot of times people think of tourism as 3 or 4 day events, staying in a major city. That's farthest from the truth, because every time there's an event in Lawrence County, it generates dollars. Whether it's in Wilmington or Elwood City, Eden Valley Days, you look at those things, there's people that come from all over, they come, they spend money, and many stay at our hotels. And our numbers, my understanding, are up with hotel stays. And that's very important. because that helps generate the tourism dollars for the TPA. So there's a lot of things going to be planned this year, as Commissioner Vogler said about the celebration, 175th anniversary celebration. It's positive for the county. We want to continue to move those things forward, and we need to get more people involved. Also, we had a group of individuals, as Commissioner Vogler talked about, leadership in Lawrence County. These were pretty much younger professionals from all walks of life in the community. I'm very impressed. I had a chance to visit with some of them. We all socialized with them. A young lady I remember seeing when she was a student at Shenango. Now she's a nurse at UPMC, and she's 25 years old, and this is her home, and she's wanting to make the community better. Just talking from different individuals who were in that room that day. So I like seeing those type of things, because we need to get the young people involved and to be continuously promote our community in a positive light. So, I mean, those were two, I think, very important. And third, as was mentioned, was our event Saturday night down in Elwood City. And as I had said, I had previously chaired the House Veteran Affairs Emergency Preparedness Committee, which dealt with volunteer fire companies and paid. And it's just amazing when you saw the video they showed us that night. Their number of fires and events, I think, it doubled from the prior year in Elwood City. I mean, that was a lot of calls that they went on to serve the community down there. And that happens in each and every one of our municipalities throughout Lawrence County. And the work that volunteers, and in the city we have a paid fire company. Some have a hybrid version. So, I mean, you know, we respect each and every one of them. You don't think about them until something happens. And I think, you know, with EMS and, you know, our facility out in Hickory Township, which you're seeing, we had the chance, myself and Commissioner Kennedy, to tour that a few weeks back and watch them in action. And while we were there, you had multiple emergency calls, and they were Johnny on the spot to get the first responders there as quickly as possible. So these are the things that happen behind the scenes that a lot of people don't realize happening. And as Commissioner Kennedy said, you know, we're still doing our visits with the various departments. I think we have about another month ahead before we actually see everybody. That was the goal, and we're going to keep on that. Sometimes we have to adjust it just because other things come up. So I think it is important, you know, what we're doing. We want to learn the whole operation to make it efficient. And Judge Mata was here. We visited with him about a week or so ago. And when I say that word, he's been very fiscally conscious. And, you know, he's saved the county multiple dollars over the years just because of the way he operates as the president judge. So we're thankful to him and his group out there. So I think that's, you know, that was our hard week. And we got a full schedule again this week. And I enjoyed my first meeting yesterday in Pittsburgh. It was actually long. It was about a 2.5-hour meeting. They said it was the longest meeting they've had in 18 years. Commissioner Tony Amadeo down in Beaver County. He's been there 18 years, and this is the longest one I've ever had. It was fruitful, and I know Commissioner Kennedy was there a lot longer than I because he's on the executive board. So I'm saying, but we got a chance to talk to people throughout. I saw a few of my former colleagues, actually the mayor of Pittsburgh and the chief executive. I served with both of them in Pittsburgh. So our goal is to work with everyone in the 10-county region. Our goal is, I think we're all on the same page, whether Democrat or Republican. Hey, let's move the county in Western Pennsylvania forward. And I thought it was very positive yesterday when we get we have some diverse different areas throughout the region, but everyone seemed to be on the same page. And Pittsburgh region is more about economic transportation, more issues, and where we are very unique, as Commissioner Vogler has spoken in the past. We're part of both the South and the Northwest. And I'll be doing more of that effort in the Northwest come July. So that's really all I have to say this week. So thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, we'll move on to new business. And the first resolution we're going to be looking at is proposed resolution 40 that comes to us from the Conservation District. Freddie, would you mind having a seat where the judge was sitting? Freddie Smith is an employee of the Conservation District. Welcome, Freddie. We appreciate your joining us today. And this is an annual contract that we renew The Conservation District participates and oversees the West Nile Surveillance and Control Program, and we do enter into a contract for that. Would you like to give us any background if you have some?
Sure. So the Conservation District executes and administers the West Nile Virus Program, which monitors mosquito, tick, and black fly populations throughout the county every year. This contract is for our field technician, Dennis Stitch, who's done this for quite some time. So while we correspond with DEP, talk about grant resources, talk about educational resources, Denny is the one who actually goes out and sets the gathering samples of mosquitoes and tick populations. He's doing the drags. He's submitting them to the labs to get monitored for West Nile and disease populations. He's the one that's doing all the legwork out there. He's done it for quite some time. He probably could carry the whole thing on his back if he really needed to, but be there for him so he doesn't have to consider it all the time. But this contract is basically the same as it is. He works the month of April to, I think, about the end of September every year when mosquito and tick populations kind of start to surge out of their larval stages. Dan did note before we started the meeting that this year, something we forgot about because these contracts usually don't change year to year for how long he's been doing this, that the mileage rate did change for mileage reimbursement for how much he has to drive back and forth across the county into DEP offices for when meetings for the coordinators take place. It does go up from 0.655 per mile to 0.67. Yeah, so I think we'll, the district has no problem with updating that in his contract as long as the commissioners also agree with that. But basically, from year to year, the contract is the same.
It's a great overview, and I appreciate your filling us in on all of that, particularly without any notes. You'll notice he doesn't have any notes in front of him, so that speaks well for you, Freddie. I do want to clarify too that what this resolution does is note that the county is submitting an application to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for the funding of this program. So accordingly, correct me if I'm wrong, this does not come out of the county's general fund. It's through the Department of Environmental Protection. And as Freddie noted, we have a contract with Mr. Stitch, who undertakes the surveillance and all the things affiliated with that. And then finally, the cost of the agreement shall not exceed $22,000. And what, as Freddie noted, you'll notice on item 3 of the resolution, it's listed as mileage reimbursement as 0.655. And I spoke to Mary Burris earlier this morning just to clarify. And as Freddie noted, that should be changed to 0.67 cents per documented mile. That's the IRS rate for 2024. So gentlemen, when we consider this, I would assume that you would be agreeable to modifying item 3 to reflect that change. But let me see if you have questions of Freddie. I'll start with Mr. Kennedy.
I've met this gentleman a few times at Marty Park. I always wondered what he was doing down along the creek, and I found out. But he's out doing his job, I'll guarantee you that. He's there, I think, about every month I'd catch him. He's doing his samples and tells you what he does. But he's out doing his job.
Good. That's good to know.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Mr. Sonata?
I just echo, thank you for your efforts. I know it's important and forward to continue working. Appreciate it. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Freddie, how long have you been with the Conservation District now? 4 months, 5 months?
August,
Okay.
since August.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It sure does.
Hope you're enjoying it.
Sure am.
That's great. Well, we're privileged to have the Conservation District here in the county. We allow them use of space here in our office, in our old courthouses where their offices are located. Sometimes people think that the Conservation District folks are county employees. I do want to note for the record, they are not. They are hired by the Conservation District. It is a separate entity. So Mr. Smith and his colleagues are not county employees, but they just happen to work here at the courthouse, which we're glad they do. So Freddie, I appreciate again your attention to detail on this. And if there are no other questions, I could take a motion then for proposed resolution 40.
I move we approve resolution 40.
I'll second.
Thank you both. Gentlemen, any other questions? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sanada,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Freddie, you are certainly welcome to stick around, but if you've got to head back upstairs, we understand.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time. Next on the agenda is proposed resolution 41. And actually, we're going to have two resolutions from Children and Youth Services, and that would be 41 and 42. Gentlemen, oh, John, you're okay. I thought you were coming up. That's fine. You got these. So please, the first one is a contract with Northwest Media, Inc. For them to conduct the Foster Parent College online training course. Who wishes to fill us in?
Before we start, I want to introduce Bill.
Bill Blows.
He's a supervisor for foster and kinship.
And Bill, did I say your last name right?
Yes, please.
Blows.
Yes.
Blose.
Correct.
Okay.
And one other thing, just to let them know, I put this on your desk.
Get one.
The first page gives you the contracts that we're looking at, today's proposal. And then the next page gives you a synopsis, a kind of a look back at the last 4 years. Now I'll turn it over to Bill.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time this morning. Northwest Media is the company that does the Foster Parent College. Foster Parent College is a training program for foster and kinship families to go online to be able to do their yearly training. PA state regulation, foster care regulations state that each certified foster family and kinship family needs to have 6 or more hours of training to maintain their license year after year, as long as they're a foster parent. So I did research on this training site to figure out what is the best way to train our foster parents that would be convenient for them. And this online training was the best one that I found during my research. And 2 years ago, we instituted the training and we've had great success with it. 86% of families are commenting that it's convenient for them with their schedules. It's very easy to log on and to complete their training. With your packet, I just did a breakdown for you gentlemen on the required trainings that we require our foster parents to have and the annual trainings that our foster parents select that they're interested in on continuing their education. On the top part of the report is 64 families this past year have been trained, and each training credit is either 4, 3, 2, or 1 hours. The program costs the county $36.05 per person for 6 credit hours. Each credit totals around $6 per person. So that's what it's costing the county to pay for the foster parents to have this training. The agency received positive feedback at 86%, who found that they love this program and it is very compatible with their daily life. So we are requesting to continue with this program with the success rate that we've had.
Bill, thank you for that background. It's very helpful. Just to clarify too, you said the cost per person at $36.05. That's $36.05 per person. I think I have that right.
Correct.
And then the annual cost, based on the resolution we have in front of us for this service, is $4,650.
Yes.
If I'm reading that correctly.
That's the increase, and these numbers that I'm stating to you now was off the current contract
Yes.
of what it's costing this year, and I believe it was $37.50 is what last year's contract was. So the 4,000 is for the renewal for the upcoming year.
Understood. And note as well that matters such as this, first of all, this is below the threshold that the state imposes as it relates to having to secure sealed bids. It's well below that. I believe that figures at least $23,000 now. And secondly, this is also considered a professional service, but from the sounds of it, you did check around to some agencies that offer this and found that you're satisfied with this particular provider. So thank you for that. Commissioner Sanada, I'll see if you have any questions for Bill. Thank you. And Commissioner Kennedy?
No, not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Well, gentlemen, this is proposed resolution 41, which would have the county enter into a professional contract with Northwest Media, Inc. For the ongoing foster parent online training course. Specifically, this would take effect, contract renewal, the new contract would be implemented on March 1 of this year and expire on March 2 of 2025. And with that being said, may I have a motion for this proposed resolution?
So moved.
I'll second that. Thank you, gentlemen. If there are no other questions for Bill, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Bill, thanks again. That was most helpful for us. And then proposed resolution 42 is a purchase of service agreement with an organization known as People Are Us Community Residential Services out of the county of Philadelphia. And who's handling that? Mike? Mike Russo? These gentlemen, and I neglected at the very outset.
Like Grippo.
Grippo. How many times have I done that, Mike?
That's fine. I
Do
know.
you get that from other people or is it just me?
No, I get it.
Well, I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're
Maybe I
fine.
should be apologizing to the other Mike. I don't know. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
I've done it before. Let's hope I never
Hey,
do it
listen,
again.
he has over 30-some years in here, so
Well,
I can understand.
please forgive me.
Oh, I do.
Thank you. And both of these gentlemen are on the management staff at our Children and Youth Services Department, and Mr. Bout is with us as well, the director. So, Mike, I'll turn it over to you for proposed resolution 42.
Okay, of course, People Are Us is out of Philadelphia. We have a situation with the child that we're currently dealing with. Was in a provider facility. Then the child moved to another provider. And he's been in there. Well, they notified us that they needed the child moved by the 29th of this month. So our supervisors, everybody calls different facilities, see if we can place this child. This is the only facility that will take the child. So this is something that if something happens between now and the 29th, then we'd like to have them here in Lawrence County or in the near area. But this is the only provider we found in Philadelphia that would take this child. We have it till the 29th to just place them. That's the situation.
I can share with you, and John, if I misstate anything, please correct me. And this is not just a Lawrence County issue, it's not just a Pennsylvania issue, it's a nationwide issue, where finding placements for children who have what are known as complex cases has become more and more difficult. And in fact, the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services put together what they call a blueprint report that I think just recently came out. It's looking to ways to address this situation. Also, the County Commissioners Association formed its own committee, the Complex Case Work Group. I happen to sit on that group, trying to address these challenges where these young people have multiple issues that make it very difficult to find facilities that are equipped to accept them and handle them and house them. And it's not just unique to Lawrence County, it's throughout the entire Commonwealth as well. And I'm assuming that what you're defining here today is that set of circumstance.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Let's hope this works out. Mr. Kennedy, do you have questions for Mr. Grippo? Thank you. Mr. Sanada? Okay, thank you. John, did I overlook anything or misstate anything?
Commissioner, you did not. You were,
Okay.
that's what this is. Your focus on a complex case is exactly the definition of this circumstance. And just to put it into its totality, we've received 31 denials from providers across the Commonwealth. And as Mr. Grippo has said, this is the only provider that has been willing to accept this child. So we appreciate your time and your attention in this matter.
And I will tell you, having served on this advisory committee in the County Commissioners Association, we've had instances in other counties where we've had young people, the county has not been able to find an appropriate provider, and they've either had to put them in a hotel room with the appropriate staffing to keep an eye on them, or sometimes they have to hospitalize them if there's certain conditions that require that. And even in some instances, some of these young people are having to stay overnight at the CYS office in other counties. That's how bad this has become.
That's correct.
So, but it has gotten the attention of the state officials, I can tell you that. So, but with all of that being said, Dan or Chris, anything else that you wish to add or ask? Thank you. So, Mike, you're asking us to approve this proposed resolution 42 to enter into a contract with People Are Us Community Residential Services in the city and county of Philadelphia. May I have a motion?
I'll move to accept resolution 42.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. If there are no other questions, we'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sanada,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Gentlemen, we appreciate your joining us and appreciate all the detail you've given us. Forgive my blunder,
You're fine.
because I feel so bad because I've done this before.
Oh, no, that's all right.
No, I should know better, but thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Next on the agenda, we have a proposed transfer. And prior to the meeting, I checked with the controller's office because on the document in front of you, it doesn't list the name of the particular line item. So Sarah Eppinger came to my rescue. This is a request from Judge Amodi's office. And what they're asking for is a transfer of $450 from the line item that it's coming from on the left would be postage. And, it does say that on the agenda. I'm sorry. I just,
I looked it up.
Thank you.
It's okay.
you know, what I was looking at was this. And it didn't have
Yeah,
it. So
right,
Chris,
so I
thank you.
looked it up. You're welcome.
My mistake, as
No problem.
usual. So as Chris correctly noted, it's coming from postage, going into materials and supplies, the amount being $450. Is there a motion to approve this request of transfer?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? Thank you again, Chris.
You're welcome.
Don't tell Sarah.
Oh, no, that's okay.
We have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sanada,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda would be announcements. The next time this board will convene will be 2 weeks from today. And hard to believe, but that will be March 12th. It's just in 2 weeks. And as noted, we will not be meeting next Tuesday, March 5. The three of us will be in Dauphin County attending the spring conference of the State County Commissioners Association. Also, tomorrow at noon, the County Prison Board, which consists of the three of us, along with the President Judge, the District Attorney, the County Controller, and the County Sheriff, seven of us will hold the monthly public meeting of the Prison Board at 12 noon here in this room, and that is a public meeting open to the public. With that, that takes us to public comment. I'll open the floor if anyone has a comment they wish to make. Mrs. Burchett.
I have 3 questions that should be easily answered. That Airbnb, what is the name of that?
Oh, Dan, you have that on the top of your head, don't you? The lodge at
Water's Edge.
Edge. The lodge at Water's Edge in Perry Township.
Okay, in the conservation district, you said that they are not employed by the county, but still they ask for approval to enter into a contract? Why is that?
Well, it's a contract that utilizes state dollars, and I guess the regulations that oversee that necessitate that it come through the Board of Commissioners. It's more or less a formality for anything else, but it's taking the state money from the Department of Environmental Protection that will allow the Conservation District to contract with this gentleman to do the work, but apparently the regulations require that it has to come through us. We do this every year with this gentleman.
How many foster parents are there in Lawrence County?
Boy, I wish John was still here. It's a lengthy list, and do you know the number?
It's long. Yes, it's long.
When we refer to these warrant registers, about every month or every 6 weeks or so, included in that are all the names of the foster parents. It's at least 2.5 pages. Is that your recollection? I feel bad. If Mr. Belt were still here, he could answer that question. But it's gotta be, I don't even wanna take a
Sure.
guess.
Yeah,
He's right here.
I know.
I'll
Oh,
get
is he out there? Well, thank you, Dan.
Joe would know, I'm sure.
We'll get you an answer here in just a second.
Hey, John, we have a question. You don't mind?
I have another one after you're done.
John, thank you, Dan. Mrs. Burchett would like to know how many foster parents we have in Lawrence County, if you have a rough idea.
With our own internal program, about 25 at CYS. Our
Go ahead.
combination between Lawrence County foster parents and kinship parents collectively is about 55, 56. But the foster parents as their own separate entity, about 25, but that only pertains to the foster care program that we operate within children and youth. So, and we contract with 25 or 26 other private provider agencies, like for example, the Bear Foundation and Cray. Those agencies all have their own roster of foster parents. All in, across all agencies, we're somewhere around 300 total homes that we potentially have access to. But again, that's counting our in-county homes and all the private provider agency homes as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
John, thank you.
Thanks,
Welcome.
Very helpful.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, there's just one comment I would like to make. There is a Saint Padre Pio of Pietrelcina in Italy. This is 25 years since his beatification. There is a statue coming to St. Mary's Church on March 9th. The original was in Pietrelcina, but a replica is being dedicated March 9th at St. Mary's. And it's only the second one. And the reason is his father was a Newcastle resident.
Oh,
And it's 125 years since, I don't know if it's his birth or his death, but that makes it pertinent to Lawrence County in Newcastle.
you know, and Debbie Walker had to step out. I'm wondering if the Newcastle News knows about this, because that's fascinating. You know, I'm hoping I don't know how much the church wants to publicize it, but I find that very intriguing.
And now they expect this to become a shrine for pilgrimages. So there you go with the tourism.
Absolutely. That's great. Well, thank you. Appreciate you sharing that information with us. That's good to know. Other comments from anyone in the room? Hearing none. My colleagues, do either of you have closing comments? Mr. Kennedy?
No.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sonata? No. Thank you. Chris, anything that we maybe overlooked?
I think so.
Okay. Well, once again, we will hopefully see all of you in 2 weeks. Please remember that the board does not meet next Tuesday. We appreciate everybody's attendance today, and there being no other business to be brought before the board, I will request a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you both, gentlemen. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned. We are still being live streamed. I will note that. I don't know who, do you know how to turn it on? Eric usually.
Shut it.
Eric,
Good, okay.
thanks, everybody. Jim, have you met Commissioner Sanada?